Okay, so today we're going to dive into something uh, pretty wild.
Yeah?
This is Fanny's hitchhiking adventure from Budapest to Lisbon
Wow.
to meet her friend Lara.
Ambitious.
Right. Yeah, and we're focusing on day one
Okay.
because you sent over her firsthand account, and I mean, there's a lot there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, just the fact that she's going from Budapest to Lisbon is crazy.
Well, thousands of miles.
Thousands, and she only gave herself 4 days.
Yeah.
So we're talking like serious mileage every day.
Yeah. So let's start right at the beginning.
Okay.
She's in Budapest saying goodbye to her mom, who she describes as like visibly petrified.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And she's at a gas station with this handwritten sign,
How did it say?
just west with an arrow.
Simple but effective.
Right. But can you imagine like that feeling, leaving home, not even knowing where you'll sleep that night?
That's like the ultimate trust fall?
Seriously. And it's interesting because at first she's doing the classic thumbs up thing.
Oh, the classic hitchhiker pose.
It really worked. Yeah. She realized pretty quickly that wasn't going to cut it.
So what does she do?
She got proactive. She started going up to people at the gas station.
While they were filling up?
Yeah, and just asking straight up, hey, are you heading west?
Bold move.
Super bold. And, she chalks it up to her homework on human psychology.
Interesting. What do you mean by that?
Well, she's saying it's harder for people to say no when you're right there, you know? Like face to face.
Oh, I see. So she's not just a face in the crowd.
Exactly. And it's not just about being seen. She's also super aware of how she's coming across.
Like, what do you mean?
Like she makes sure she's clean and tidy, friendly looking.
Yeah.
And always asking with a smile.
Smart.
And it totally worked.
Oh, well.
She said she had like a 90% success rate.
Wow, seriously?
Yeah. And the few times people said no, it was usually because they weren't going her way.
That is impressive, though, 90%.
Right. And get this, for a lot of the drivers, she was their first ever hitchhiker.
Oh, wow. So it was an adventure for them, too.
Totally. She even mentioned all the selfies.
So it's like a trait, free ride for a story.
Yeah. And she was constantly being asked, like, why are you doing this? Where will you sleep?
And did she know?
She said a lot of times she didn't figure it out until late in the day.
That takes guts.
Seriously. But overall, she really emphasized how kind and curious people were.
That's heartening to hear.
Yeah, she even mentioned this one lady who still follows her on Facebook.
Oh, that's sweet.
Right. Like these fleeting connections can be surprisingly meaningful.
Definitely. But let's be real. It couldn't have been all sunshine and roses.
Oh, absolutely. There's the food situation.
What was she eating?
Mostly those triangle sandwiches from gas stations.
Ah, yeah. You know the ones.
She even joked about their nutritional value.
Probably not much to write home about.
Right. But hey, gotta fuel the adventure somehow.
True. So she's making good progress, right? Passing through Vienna, Austria, Slovenia.
Yeah, I even got a little lost in Maribor, but this nice lady helped her get back on track.
Sounds like she was meeting some great people.
Yeah, but as day turns into night, things start to get a little trickier.
Makes sense. It's one thing hitchhiking during the day, but at night.
Totally. And her last ride into Italy was, let's just say, memorable.
Okay. I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
It was this hippie caravan with 2 guys smoking weed and their 2 large smelly dogs.
Oh, no.
She said you could tell they were outdoor animals just by the smell.
Oh, my gosh.
She was exhausted, though, so she slept alongside them in the caravan.
After being so careful about being clean and presentable earlier.
I know, right? Talk about a contrast.
Yeah, so where does she end up?
Trieste, Italy.
Okay.
Around 1 a.m.
And she's exhausted, I imagine.
Oh, yeah, completely wiped out. And, of course, the immediate problem is finding somewhere to stay.
Right, because she didn't have anything booked.
Nope, and everything was either closed, too expensive, or way too far out.
So what did she do?
Well, her next thought was the train station.
Makes sense, at least for shelter and a bathroom.
Exactly, but when she gets there, between 2 and 3 a.m., guess what?
It was closed.
Locked up tight.
Oh, man, that's rough.
Yeah, and that's when it really hits her, the weight of her decision.
And regret setting in.
Yeah, she's comparing her situation to the comfort she left behind.
And she chose this.
Right, and she even mentions this familiar feeling of emotional self-harm.
Wow, that's heavy.
It suggests this isn't just about the physical discomfort.
No, it's deeper than that.
But she's resourceful. She spots a security guard, and even though they can't understand each other...
How did she communicate?
She's pointing to the security camera, like asking if he can watch her.
Asking to sleep under the camera?
Yeah.
That's wild.
I know, and at first he says no, but eventually he agrees.
Wow, so she ends up sleeping on the street?
Yeah, under a security camera, and she talks about the discomfort, the lack of hygiene, all those questions swirling in her head.
And did she get any sleep?
Not really, with all the noise from the trains.
Oh, man. So then morning comes and...
The need for a bathroom hits, and of course the station's still closed. Yeah, and she can't find any other options, so she ends up having to go between two cars.
Oh my gosh, that's awful.
I know, right? It's like a whole other level of vulnerability.
Seriously. So what does she do?
At this point, she's done. She decides to take a train from Trieste to Milan.
Just to get some comfort and cleanliness.
Exactly, and it's in Milan that she has this really profound moment.
What happened?
It's breakfast.
A breakfast.
Yeah, but it's not about the food itself. It's about the contrast.
With the night she just had.
Exactly. She calls it the flagship experience on my journey of learning appreciation.
Wow. So this basic meal becomes this huge turning point.
Yeah, because it makes her realize how much she took for granted before.
That's powerful.
And she talks about how this challenging night really pushed her towards personal growth.
Like how so?
She feels this heavy weight of entitlement starting to lift.
Interesting.
And it's like the beginning of a shift towards more compassion and gratitude.
But she's realistic, right? This is just the start.
Yeah, she acknowledges that one breakfast won't erase years of ingrained expectations.
But it's a step.
A big one. And I think it shows how facing discomfort can lead to real change.
It makes you think about those tough moments in your own life, right?
Totally. Like, how did those challenges shape you?
Exactly. Because sometimes the most uncomfortable experiences are the ones that teach us the most.
So there you have it. Day one of Fanny's hitchhiking adventure.
Wow, what a day.
Seriously, from the highs of those kind strangers to the lows of sleeping by the train tracks and everything in between.
It really makes you appreciate the little things.
It does, and it leaves us with a lot to think about.
Yeah, like how can we be more aware of our own sense of entitlement?
And how can we cultivate more compassion and gratitude in our daily lives?
Great questions.
Well, that brings our deep dive to a close. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
And until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.
See ya.